In his mind, the matter is resolved.
Mind over matter.
So how is mind matter? I'm going to give you two perspectives on this. One from the scientific perspective.
Science?
Science and nature, innit?
And one from the perspective of your own experience. You could call it spiritual if you want.
They're naturally spiritual.
Spiritual.
Spiritually?
Spiritual currency.
Where?
But just from your own experience. I'm going to start with the scientific perspective and then we'll get into the spiritual perspective. Okay, so from a scientific perspective, for example, you can watch videos where people have taken sand and put it on a speaker and played some kind of sound. That frequency, that vibration.
We'll turn the vibrations into sound.
Made the sand create some kind of geometrical pattern, some kind of shape, a structure, right? So look at it as this vibration, this activity creating matter, a structure, right? Just keep that in mind with what I'm about to explain. So from your own experience, this is kind of scientific as well, there's 3 stages of sleep. And the first stage is the dream stage, right? Where awareness itself has activity. It's vibrating within itself, creating mind, which is then creating matter. Just like how the sand on the speaker, that vibration created a structure, a shape, a pattern. So now awareness in that same way, the vibration of itself creates structure, mind. And mind can perceive itself and create matter in that sense. It's not that mind and matter are separate from each other, and it's not that awareness and mind are separate from each other. Mind is the activity of awareness. So the next stage is the deep sleep stage, right?
To a deep, deep, deep sleep.
Welcome to deep sleep.
Okay, he's in deep sleep.
This is where most people assume that they cut off, they shut off, or they don't remember anything. So they just assume that awareness isn't there. But it's not that awareness isn't there during deep sleep. It's that awareness no longer has any activity. It's at the 0 point. There's just nothing to be experienced in that way. And then the last stage, the third stage, is the dream state again, where awareness is gaining activity within itself, vibrating, and creating mind, matter. So just imagine this was my dream right now. I'll explain this in my other videos, but imagine this was my dream, and I'm the dream character Neo. I'm the second person perspective of the inner activity of the one mind asleep, the one consciousness asleep, right? So I might be a dream character named Neo.
There is no spoon.
But I'm still the one awareness, the one consciousness that is asleep. So the interactivity of that, from the second person perspective of itself, is everything that I see. And it's that same way right now with reality itself. It's just all the same one consciousness, the same one awareness, vibrating within itself, creating mind and matter. Because look at it like this, when you're in a dream, and awareness has this activity within itself, creating this second person perspective. When I touch a table, there's still matter, it's still sensation, touch. I can still hear, there's still perception. And notice how in a dream, the dream character Neo doesn't necessarily have eyes or really a brain. The thinking and the sight isn't really happening in here.
Oh my God.
It's happening within the whole, the one awareness. This is just a localization of the one awareness. So it's not that sight itself, perception, or hearing, sound. Any of that is taking place out there or within here. That's just your mind conceptualizing that as happening from right here. So in that same way, when you're asleep, and the activity of awareness becomes mind and matter, it's like that right now. And that's where, if you were to have this recognition and meditation of it being a whole, and you recognize that you are awareness, deeply just generally have a recognition. It's a real recognition. I have another video on that. You recognize how you are eternal in that way. And I don't necessarily like using that word, but because awareness itself is untouched. It's deathless. That term doesn't even exist within it. It doesn't apply to it, I guess you could say. Because everything itself arises within awareness. And that is just eternal. You already have everything too in that way. That's how desire would become purified in a sense. How you would no longer be acting from a place of lack. Like say I was sitting here present with myself and I had the desire to get up and go look away. But that desire was from a feeling of lack. But then if I were to be present and have that same desire but not from a feeling of lack, and when I went up to go do something, I didn't look away from the present.
Buddha.
And you can notice too how mind is matter in this way. The thinking, the activity of the mind. You could just be sitting at your table, thinking to yourself. And that thinking, that deep thinking becomes what? A daydream, right? So you can be completely awake and just have this continuous thought in your head that you get attached to, and you go into it, and it becomes a daydream. So mind is matter. It just makes you laugh, don't it? Because everything you see right now is pretty much like, if you want to call it God, is God's face. Like everything, this, everything behind me, everything you can see is you. We're all the same one thing, and it's the activity of him or her or it, whatever you want to call it. It really is funny if you think about it, because it's so right in your face. Like everything you can see is like, you could say your face or God's face, however you want to say it. Mind is matter. Everything you can see is just your face, your reflection, God's reflection. Mind is matter.